Step right up, dummies, and listen to the stupidest sports show on earth with Rodney Newpol and Tim Van Stratton. Yeah.
Well, hello, dummies, and welcome to episode number 97 of the Stupidest Sports Show on Earth. My name, as you all know, is Tim Sandman Van Stratton. Alongside me is Rodney Newpol. I like the facial expressions this morning. I like just the vibe that you're giving off on this Friday. Good morning, man. How are you?
Enter Sandman. Good morning. Good morning, Sandman. It's a good Friday here, and you're a little dark there in sunny, not so sunny 6 a.m. California. But yeah, no, all good, all good. It's our final Friday of September. I can't believe October is going to be here. It's crazy how fast we move along, and we are one step closer to episode 100. That's coming up very soon. In October, it'll be here. So looking forward to that.
100 episodes, man. That's
crazy.
That's gonna be wild. That's gonna be wild, man. That's a lot of shows, a lot of gas bagging. But I'm happy that we're gonna be reaching 100 very soon. But yes, I am. It's like 6:04 a.m. right now. Still dark outside. It's a pretty dimly lit office. So I apologize if it gives off the appearance that I'm just like in a totally pitch black room with a computer and I'm just like trying to secretly do a show. I'm still bringing the energy. That's the goal. That's the goal. Yeah. But yeah. All right, man. As always, the Friday morning shows. Well, first of all, thank you to everyone who's tuning in and joining us throughout the show. Reminder that if you're watching us on Twitter, you can just give us a follow at Stupid Sports Show. No W at the end on Twitter. But Rodney has put together our little Friday show, and it's quite an honor, man, because I've been, we talked about it a little bit on Tuesday, but I think that this is in the conversation for one of the best sports weekends of 2025. So this is a big one. We got a lot to get to, and I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm excited that you want to talk baseball to start. This week, I found myself getting sort of back into baseball mode ahead of the playoffs. So I'm pumped, man. I'm pumped.
Yeah, and so obviously Ryder Cup's going on. It looks like the Americans have gotten off to a pretty decent start so far this morning. I know Bryson had an early birdie. We can maybe update that as we get closer to the end of the show. But yeah, no, I thought we'd start with a little baseball. It is the final weekend of Major League Baseball. We have most of the teams locked into the playoffs. But I did want to talk about, I know I've heard a little bit of your opinion on this, but I thought we would talk over the air on this. It is the conversation of American League MVP. And obviously Cal Raleigh hit his 60th, just an outstanding moment in Seattle, a moment in Seattle that they're going to remember for many, many, many decades. The Cal Raleigh fans on their feet chanting MVP, hits his 60th home run, becomes the third player in American League history to reach 60-plus home runs. He's a catcher. He's a switch hitter. All those things. And you got Aaron Judge, who's sitting at 330, 51 home runs, and 109 RBIs. Who is your American League MVP? And then I'm gonna bring up a little devil's advocate here for the sports books. I'm going to talk about sports books version of this here in a minute. But your thoughts on the MVP award?
So yeah, you and I have texted about this a little bit, and I think two things can be true. I think that everyone can look at all of the in-depth numbers to measure how valuable someone is. And again, and we don't like talking about those numbers here on the Stupidest Sports Show. I want to make that very clear as well. But Aaron Judge, for what it's worth, has had one of the best offensive seasons in the history of baseball that have only been matched or bested by, the absolute greatest hitters in baseball history. Like, he's been absolutely incredible. A 330 average to go on top of the 50-plus home runs and all of these other things is an outstanding, unbelievable baseball season. He is still, for my money, like the best player in the American League. but I think it would be totally ridiculous for Yankee fans or whoever to throw a fit if the voters look at Cal Raleigh and say, that's your MVP.
Yeah.
And it's for all the reasons you mentioned. Like it not only is it joining a 60 home run club that's only been joined by 6 players before him in baseball history. It's also the fact that Seattle has won a division.
Yep.
Cal Raleigh is a catcher.
Yep.
It's the most physically demanding position in baseball. He's done it as a switch hitter. So it's all these things. It's most home runs by a catcher ever, most home runs by a switch hitter ever. It's joining the 60 home run club. It's winning the division. It's also the value that he has provided to a Mariners pitching staff and a bullpen that's been pretty good.
Yeah.
And like Cal Raleigh isn't viewed as, oh, he's bat only, but he can't catch and they want to move him. No, I want to say he's won a platinum glove before.
Yeah, I think so too. Yep.
This is a really good defensive catcher as well. So you factor all of those things in, and even if the batting average is 245, even if the OPS plus is well short of where Aaron Judge is, like it's hard to say, oh, Cal Raleigh, sorry, not good enough, when it's the best season by a catcher, by a switch hitter that we've ever seen. For a good team that won their division already, while the Yankees are still technically a wild card team. So I think you could say Judge is the better player. I think you could still also say Cal Raleigh's the MVP.
Yeah. So my question here is, if you are operating a sports book, and let's say these guys tie, is there a chance this could be a split MVP vote? Is there an opportunity for this?
There is an opportunity. So the way that it works is you have the 30 voters that come from all the different markets, and they rank the players, right? So, and then they look and they see the combined value of the points and all that. The reason, though, that it is possible that they could tie is because I can't imagine someone in good conscience putting either of these guys in third on a ballot.
Right.
That, like, if that happened, there would be no chance that they would tie. But the fact that you're only going to see these guys get first, these guys get second, I absolutely see a world where they just say, okay, 15 of them say Judge, 15 of them say Raleigh.
Right.
Well, but in that case, there have been MVP ties before.
Yeah.
Like it was who was it back in the 70s? I think it was Keith Hernandez when he was with the Cardinals, and then Willie Stargell. I think they might have shared an MVP one year.
Yeah, which my point is here is because we are so invested in the sports book and the gambling. Like 70s, this wasn't as much of an issue maybe, but okay, you got a ticket on Cal Raleigh or Aaron Judge. You got to pay out both, right? Like if you're a sports book, you got to end up paying both. They both won the MVP. So you got to think sports books are not wanting a tie on this one.
No, and the chances of a tie are still fairly low, but it's a lot likelier than I think it would be in a year where there were one or two other guys that you could talk about. I mean, I looked at the odds yesterday. No one else is even listed. And if you don't think one of them's the MVP, they're still going to be second on your ballot. Like there should be and I'm willing to go this far here. If there is a single writer that votes for this award that has either of those guys outside their top two, I demand their credentials revoked. I just want to get ahead of that now. Rodney, can you make an argument for any person, any player in the American League besides those two?
I'm doing very basic mental midget thinking here. I'm looking at stats and looking at the basic stats. You look at home runs, Caminero obviously has 44, but he's not hitting real well. You've got Bo Bichette leading the American League in hits. Okay, great. But that's not.
No, those are very good seasons, but you're not going to say, Bo Bichette. Bo Bichette leading the league in hits. Okay, well, let's put him over Cal Raleigh, who hit 60 home runs. Let's put him over Aaron Judge, whose OPS is over 200. Like, It's like, yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't. I can't. And Joe Adele hit 37 home runs.
Apparently, I learned that.
Taylor Ward hit 36.
Yeah, apparently.
Oh my goodness. Vinny,
I guess they're giving home runs to everyone these days. Apparently,
Pasquatch had 111 runs batted in. My goodness. Okay. Anyway,
I love. You know what, Rodney? If you just want to just go through these stats and just learn things about the players that had good seasons, I totally give you the right to just interrupt the show just to talk about these guys because I love you discovering that Vinny Pasquantino had 110 plus RBIs.
Yeah, he's second. He's second with Riley Green in RBIs with 111. They both are ahead of Aaron Judge, which is a little bit surprising. But anyways, no, I think back to the MVP talk. It would be interesting to see a tie, and I guess I'm just interested to see what sports books are going to do if they do tie. I mean, the only honorable thing, but this is a sports book, so maybe not use honorable in the same sentence, is to pay both of them out. And I would guess that's what they would do, but it would be interesting to see.
I doubt that there was language in there in the bet. That's the place that says outright winner.
Yeah.
It's probably like just MVP and what like that person has won an MVP award. Even if they're the co-MVP, that's an MVP award. You would have to pay him out.
Yeah. All right, let's move to, and I know we talked a little bit about this on Tuesday, kind of our final picks here, but up to date, 3 games left. We'll just run through this real quick. Blue Jays, Yankees are tied in the AL East. Both are making the playoffs. You're a Yankees fan. We got Blue Jays against the Rays, the Yankees against the Orioles. Who comes out of the American League East as the champion?
So, absolute like gut reaction is Toronto survives. The fact that Toronto has the tiebreaker makes such a big difference. It just means Toronto facing a Tampa team that's okay, they're scrappy.
Yeah.
But like if Toronto takes 2 out of 3, the Yankees have to sweep Baltimore. And Baltimore is not a shoo-in guaranteed victory. Like Baltimore is, they're 2 games behind Tampa Bay. They're probably like, hey, we could make the Yankees a wild card team. We could finish out of last place, like, end the season on a high note. So, and I don't think Tampa Bay gets 2 on Toronto,
right,
which would be ideal. And then Yankees would just need to win 2 out of 3 against Baltimore. But my prediction is that they finish with the same record, and Toronto gets the tiebreaker.
All right, so American League East, Guardians and Tigers are tied because the Tigers finally won a game. They have 3 games left. Cleveland hosts Texas. Detroit is at Boston. Who wins the American League Central?
I think Cleveland. I think Cleveland got it. They have that tiebreaker. It's the similar thing with Toronto. Having that tiebreaker makes such a big difference. And Cleveland just hosting a team that's eliminated as opposed to going on the road to face a wild card team where like the Red Sox have a lot to play for. Like the Red Sox are not in that 4 seed right now, so they're going to finish no higher than 5th. But like if the Red Sox lose this series to Detroit, they can very well miss the playoffs.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Because Detroit will have the tiebreaker against them, and then depending on what Houston does, like that's. Oh, well, Houston's at the Angels, right? So like that's a very winnable series for Houston. So this is a massive, massive series for Boston. Is Crochet lined up to pitch this weekend, or did he go? I think he went against Toronto.
I'll take a look at the pitching matchup, but that brings in the next point. If you think Cleveland wins the American League Central, who is the team left out of the wild card chase? And I'll go ahead and give you. I'll find the pitching matchups here. But who's the team left out? You think?
Yeah. Okay. So as it stands today, so Boston has a 1-game lead over Detroit.
Yeah.
And I mentioned that. So if Detroit wins that series. So, but I got to look to see if Cleveland has the tiebreaker over Boston and how all that works. Because if Detroit wins that series, obviously they could win the division, but like if they take 2 out of 3, that would move them up to the 5 seed ahead of Boston. And then Boston is up by 2 right now on Houston. So I guess it kind of just depends on tiebreakers. It's all very very confusing, all these teams being so close together. But I'll say, you know what the hell? I'll say Boston drops. I'll say Boston's the team that falls out, which would be which would be wild as the team. So then you would have 2 of the top 3 teams in the American League based on run differential miss the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because maybe not a lot of people know this, but the Texas Rangers, who have been eliminated, have the 3rd best run differential in the AL, and then Boston's number 2.
Wow.
That would be quite the story. And then you have Cleveland, who might have a negative run differential, win a division. It's wild.
So Friday is Casey Mize against Kyle Harrison. Mm-hmm. Saturday, Detroit is undecided against Connolly early for Boston. Whoever that is. And then Sunday, probables are Scooble for Detroit against undecided for Boston. So we'll see what happens there. But I will take Houston getting left out. They're not playing great baseball. I know Detroit's not either. Kyle Hendricks will pitch his final start tonight for the Angels. His final start of his career. I do think he'll throw well tonight. We'll see.
Yeah. Actually, so Rodney, I think you have the correct answer. So I was able to look at all of the tiebreakers and who wins the tiebreaker versus whoever and loses the tiebreaker. And the Astros, who are 1 game behind Detroit right now for that 3rd wildcard spot, would lose the tiebreaker against the Guardians, the Red Sox, and the Tigers. Yeah. And they would win the tiebreaker against none of them. So the Astros would have to finish a full game ahead of any of those teams.
Yeah.
So I think that's your answer. I think that's your answer.
Detroit and Boston just can't get swept, right? I mean, yes, 2 out of 3 still would. No, they really just can't get swept. That would pretty much be how that would work then, because Detroit was only 1 up, so Boston can't get swept. All Boston has to do is win 1 game.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So they have to win 1. Detroit's got to win 2. So if Detroit wins 2 out of 3 in this series, there's no chance that the Astros can make the playoffs. That's pretty much how it is. Okay.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. And then as far as like the order of what it would be with like Boston and Detroit. So the Tigers swept Boston 3-0 earlier this year, and they have 3 games left. So all the Tigers need to do is win 1 game to then have a tiebreaker over Boston, like if they ended up finishing with the same record. But
they'll both go on the road, right? Yeah, they would both be road games. So anyways, all right, let's move. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, because the Yankees yesterday, them and Toronto both won, but the Yankees clinched home field for the wild card round at worst. So like the Yankees are basically, they're saying, okay, we're either going to be the 4 seed or the 1 seed. Like that's kind of how it's lined up for them.
All right, American League, Phillies and Brewers are both in as divisional winners. Dodgers are in as divisional winners. Brewers hold a 2-game lead on the Phillies. I would guess they should be able to. They hold the tiebreaker. All they got to do is beat the Reds once or see a Phillies loss to the Twins. I would guess the Brewers will be 1. The Phillies will be 2. Dodgers are locked into 3. Cubs are locked into 4. Padres are locked into 5. So we move to 6, where the Mets, the Reds, the Diamondbacks are all in a little bit of a battle here. Diamondbacks are pretty much cooked. They're 2 out. Not sure they're going to make a run here. But the Mets are 1 game up on your Cincinnati Reds. Mets host the Fish. Reds are at the Brewers. Diamondbacks are at the Padres. Diamondbacks are getting left out, aren't they?
I think so. No. I think
Mets are making
that last. Kind of feels that way. The Diamondbacks, man, there was a game, it was 2 nights ago, and they had it on, I was hanging out with some friends, and it was 4-1 Dodgers, and the Dodgers bullpen once again blew the lead. Diamondbacks were able to come back. They had opportunities. They had bases loaded at one point in extra innings in the 10th inning, couldn't play to run, and they ended up losing to the Dodgers. Like that was devastating for them on a night that the Mets got pummeled by the Cubs.
Yeah.
And then they had an early game yesterday. Dodgers smoked them, and it was I think that was probably your season right there for Arizona. Yeah, I think the Mets are going to do just enough to survive, but that said, it's the Reds saying all we need to do is finish one game better than the Mets here in this weekend because they still have the tiebreaker.
Yeah. So the Mets have to face Alcantara tonight for Miami. I mean, it's always dangerous to go against him. It's Zach Littell against Quinn Priester, Cincinnati, Milwaukee. But who knows how long Milwaukee will keep starting pitcher in, right? Like they've already got injuries. They may say, okay, 4 or 5 innings will get you out. Saturday is the Mets face Yuri Perez of Miami, and the Reds got Andrew Abbott against undecided. Milwaukee's probably going to go bullpen game or something there. And then Sunday, the Mets face Edward Cabrera.
Yeah, well, Milwaukee can use bullpen guys because they're going to have a whole week off until they play. They're not going to play until next weekend again, so guys will be rested.
Yeah, so Brady Singer against undecided in Cincinnati, Milwaukee. So I think the Mets will find a way to. I mean, I can't say they've played much better. I mean, they really haven't played a whole lot better. They did win 2 out of 3 against the Cubs, but other than that, they lost 2 out of 3 to the Nationals before that. I will take the Mets. Cincinnati's had so many opportunities and just haven't got it done. So I'll take the Mets to get in. Cincinnati and Arizona gets left out.
Did you know that up until yesterday, the Miami Marlins weren't eliminated?
Yeah. They were saying they were lasted 1 day longer than the Cardinals. Awesome.
Yeah, but it was crazy because apparently the Marlins had the tiebreaker over every single team that's ahead of them right now, whether it's the Reds and the Mets and the Cardinals or whoever else. So it's and there were these scenarios where if the Marlins won out and then the Reds and Diamondbacks only won one more game for the rest of the year, they would have made the playoffs.
Yeah, that's awesome. What a mess in the National League wild card. And the Braves somehow found a way to only be 7 back of the wild card here as they've played really well at the end of the year. But anyway, so we'll move on from that. Major League Baseball last 3 days. We'll recap that next week's shows. Last night in the NFL, so it was a good game. Actually, it was. I wasn't overly excited about the game. I missed much of the first half of the game. I know Marvin Harrison Jr. was not great in the first half, but had a much better second half. But a 52-yard field goal won the game last night in Seattle. Arizona, just they're competitive, but they're just not all that good. What's your thoughts about last night's game?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I wasn't super excited about it. I was watching the Yankee game mostly. I did see the Marvin Harrison Jr. bobble and fumble, and I did make an observation about him that we can mention later. But Arizona to me is a team where I saw so many people saying, well, that's a team that can win the division. Yeah. And I was just like, that division? Are you sure? Because the Rams are good. The 49ers were going to be much improved. The Seahawks, I think the Seahawks deserve a lot more credit than I was willing to give them. Sam Darnold, we're 4 weeks in, and Sam Darnold signing has aged pretty well so far. I think people were saying, oh, he's going to leave Minnesota. He's going to struggle. He's just, he's going to man out. But if you had to say right now, Sam Darnold or Geno Smith, I think you're taking Sam Darnold.
For sure.
He's been an upgrade there. And it was a kind of an ugly game at first, but then it definitely picked up later. These division games in prime time always lead to some excitement, but I was impressed by how Seattle was able to gut out the win. Yeah, and Arizona, where are you at with Kyler Murray? Just at this point.
Yeah, and he's middle of the road quarterback in the NFL, right? He just is. He's not a franchise. He's not a franchise leader if you want to take the next step. To me, I mean, good. He has some nice steps. He makes some nice moves. But he's just kind of what do the kids say? He's mid. He's kind of mid.
But the most exciting level of mid quarterback just
Yeah.
because of his mobility and the way he can, create plays that seemingly break down. Like I totally understand that. Yeah, I think he's played enough now because he was drafted in 2019. I think he just sort of is who he is. And that is a quarterback who's good enough to start in the NFL, but I don't think it's a quarterback that you could say you are going to win playoff games with. Maybe you get into a wild card. I don't think you win playoff games and you say this is our franchise cornerstone here. And that's a tough position because they paid him. So I don't know.
Did. So during our preseason picks, I had Arizona winning this game last night, but I did have Arizona starting 2-2. So
yeah,
you had Arizona starting 1-3, by the way. You did pick the Seattle game right. You have Seattle starting 2-2, and so do I. So we are a game back on Seattle as they moved to 3-1 last night.
Yeah, where did I falter on Seattle?
San Francisco and Pittsburgh, both losses for you, and then beating New Orleans and Arizona. So
Pittsburgh one, yeah, where Seattle
at Pittsburgh.
That make them look silly. Yeah.
All right, so you have kind of a Marvin Harrison Jr. hot take that maybe you want to get across. Now, I don't know, maybe it changed after the fourth quarter touchdown because that's a pretty nice play.
No, it didn't change.
That's a pretty nice play.
Yeah.
But you've got a Marvin Harrison Jr. take.
Yeah. All right. My Marvin Harrison Jr. take, and this was granted. I did send this after the bumbling of the ball. I mean, he's done this. He's done this more than once, though.
Yeah.
Like the guy has. It's not like he's had sticky fingers, man. He's had some issues with catching the football, and he can still make plays. But I'll say this: I'm going to compare him to another 4th overall pick that came in with huge, massive expectations after a fantastic college career, and has kind of disappointed in the NFL, even if you know that there's talent there. My Marvin Harrison Jr. hot take is that he is Kyle Pitts with a famous dad.
Okay. He's Kyle Pitts with a famous dad. Okay.
So Ryan, so tell me you remember Kyle Pitts from Florida coming into the NFL and the type of hype that was surrounding him. I mean, the guy went 4th overall as a tight end. He was supposed to be the premier tight end in the NFL, was he not?
No, you're right. You're definitely right. And has been super frustrating, annoying, angering, everything, especially for fantasy owners. And just has not come through. So yeah, I mean, right. I get it. And with Pitts, it's not just there was issues with getting him the ball. It's when the ball did come, there were too many drops, too many just like what happened there. And it's the exact same thing so far through 1 of the quarter years with Marvin Harrison Jr. Just absolute absurd. I mean, like, we like to make fun of the generational term, but people were actually saying generational receiver with Marvin Harrison Jr. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Marvin Harrison is his dad. And it was really good in college, drafted 4th overall, was going to be this absolute weapon for Kyler Murray. And so far, like, through however many games, 20 games of his career, we're like, so in his own draft class, dude, like, Malik Neighbors has been much better. Brian Thomas, I think, has been better. Ladd McConkey has been better. Like, Roma Dunze this year, Roma Dunze has looked really good. Like, Marvin Harrison Jr. is like 5th right now in the power rankings of receivers in his own draft class. Yeah. So it's just there's talent there, but there's too many dope moments for me to say, yeah, that's a franchise guy right now. So yeah, Kyle Pitts with a famous dad. How about that? Okay. All right. I mean, to your words, you're going to have to live up to it. I hope it's not cold take here in a couple years from now.
Maybe if it is, I'll own up to it. But as of right now, as of today, that's what it's been.
Yeah. All right, so college football, big day tomorrow, huge day of college football tomorrow, a bunch of games on the slate. We'll get to a few of those during the best bets for betting segment. 3 games tonight: Florida State, Virginia, TCU, Arizona State, and Houston, Oregon State. I know you are excited about Illinois, USC, although you are across the country from where the game is actually being played. So this will be a breakfast game for you, 9 a.m. 9 a.m.
Yeah.
out there. That's you gotta
Yeah.
love West Coast sports, right? Like
I do, man. I like it's amazing because it's when I go to bed, it's like, oh, okay, all the sports are done. Like it's not like I'm going to bed while there's sports still happening. I put the Yankee game on yesterday. It was 4:00.
Yeah.
It's 4:00. And guess what? It ends, and then I have dinner. It's not like I'm eating dinner and watching the game. Like it was so convenient, and I miss it so much. I miss West Coast football and baseball so much. And yeah, I'm gonna experience NFL Sunday out here too, where games. My whole life, I associated NFL with 10 a.m., which I know is absurd. Like for you, it's noon for you, and now I'm used to it. But like, yeah, 10 a.m., 1 p.m., and then you have the Sunday night games, 5:15. Still light out.
Nice. Yeah, it's nice. No, every time I go to Vegas, I love it. I'm literally the game's over at 8:00 or 8:15 in Vegas. Yeah. You got the rest of the night to do what you want. But no, it's just so you get 9 a.m. USC Illinois. What else interests you in college football tomorrow? I know we talked a little bit on Tuesday about some of the big games, but do you have one or two others that really, really interest you?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm kind of just gonna go in line with a lot of what the ranked games are. Like, the two at the end of the afternoon, 4:30, they start at the exact same time. It is a must to split screen them if you have YouTube TV or whatever. Oregon, Penn State, and then Alabama, Georgia. Obviously, everyone knows about the legendary Big Ten rivalry of Oregon versus Penn State.
Right.
Not much needs to be said about that. Eugene against State College, but like. That's two top 6 teams right now in the nation that you'll say, hey, we could potentially win the Big Ten. And then Alabama, Georgia. Like, to me, do you feel like that's a game that 2 years ago is a little like 2 years ago, those were like top 2 teams in the nation. And this is a potential championship that we're talking about. But now it's like, okay, Georgia's really good. They're not amazing. And then Alabama, it seems like they're still waiting for their first signature win with Kalen DeBoer. And I would say beating Georgia on the road would be the biggest win of Kalen DeBoer's tenure at Alabama. So yeah, I'm excited for those two in particular. And but it's a really good weekend. Even like late night, BYU at Colorado, like Deion looking for an upset against a ranked BYU team, I think is an underrated game as well.
Yeah, no, it is. There is some good ones. I think you got to be careful with Ohio State at Washington too. Washington is tricky, and I think people, they were down the year after Michael Penix left. They were a little down last year, but this Husky team's pretty good, and Ohio State's going to have to go all the way out there. Like again, you talk about the rivalry that isn't, but like Ohio State hasn't really been out to Husky Stadium, and from all indications, Husky Stadium is not an easy place to play out there in Seattle. So that one's interesting to me. 7.5-point favorite for the Buckeyes on the road. I don't know, man. The number one team could be upset watch on Saturday. So that's also a good one as well.
It is a lot of points.
Yeah.
It is a lot of points. And we'll maybe get to it in best bets for betting here. But yeah, that game to me, it stands out as well. I mean, Ohio State is number one team in the nation. The only thing is Washington hasn't had really played anyone of note. Like it was obviously they played Washington State last weekend on the road, but that rivalry game. But Ohio State's a whole different animal, so that's sort of the one thing that you have to look at. But yeah, that's a long distance to travel on the road. Yeah. Another classic Big Ten rivalry, as we all know.
Yeah.
So yeah, what I it's one of those things where I'm looking at, I'm saying, hey, Washington keeps that game to within 3 points. I'm not surprised. If Ohio State blasts them by 4 touchdowns, I think that could happen as well. It's in the range of outcomes.
Yeah, I'm with you there. One more thing I wanted to discuss. It's LSU and Ole Miss week, and I don't know if you saw any of this. It was posted on Monday. Whit Weeks, the linebacker, one of the top linebackers for LSU, has posted a picture of him and his girlfriend. Well, his girlfriend is Landry Kiffin, Lane's daughter, and just kind of trolling the week of the game. Lane comes out and says, take the over. Do you want your college football? Do you want your college football coach? And I love Lane Kiffin. I do. I love what Lane Kiffin does. Has he always made the right moves? No, not necessarily. But I love how he doesn't necessarily take everything so dang serious like some of these college coaches, and he's just kind of he's kind of a regular dude. But take the over? Do you really? So, like, what do we expect from Ole Miss, LSU? It could be fun. It could be a fun one,
and it could be over. Like it could legitimately be a lot of points. I'm not fearful of either defense. So yeah, but I'm with you on Lane, man. It's so much fun. He's the perfect college coach for like today's era of players. I know he's been doing it for a while now and stuff, but like he's someone who should stay in college. He's like in a great spot there at Ole Miss, and I love the vibe. I love what he does there. But that's a good game. That's a really good game too. Like the college slate's just loaded. It really is.
Yeah, he's kind of this generation's version of Pete Carroll. Right? When Pete Carroll was coaching college football, Pete did things differently than Lane, but was like the cool head coach, right?
Well, you know what, Rodney? I think that's an excellent comparison, considering that Lane Kiffin was on Pete Carroll's staff and was a natural sort of successor to him. Was Lane the first head coach right after Pete Carroll left?
I believe so. Yeah,
I think so too. Yeah. So I mean, it's definitely a lot of similarities between the two of them. I think that's a really good comp.
Week 4 of the NFL. We talked a little bit on Tuesday about some of these games. Any fun? So we start early. Well, it's okay. So you get 6:30 in the morning football.
Yeah, which I don't love that. I don't love 6:30 football.
Well,
I'll do it.
Right? That's now. Yeah. So a game in Dublin.
Excellent point. Yeah, but like I woke up, 50 minutes ago, and I was like, oh, I was tired. But yeah, so Rodney, maybe if you and I do a Sunday morning show at the same time to help, like a little 15-minute show right before the game, just to give me some juice, and then I can be ready to watch that game. Because like Viking Steelers, it's a good game. Is it Carson Wentz again? Have they made any announcements?
Yeah.
Okay. So Carson Wentz and the Vikings playing a defense that I believe the Steelers defense has been amongst the worst in the NFL, which you don't hear that very often. You don't like the Steelers and the Ravens have bottom 5 defenses in the NFL this year based on yards allowed and points. It's wild. And then the Steelers are a team though that they've won the shootout, they've won the grinded out game. Like they're still dangerous in the fact that they're so well coached and they have so many veterans that they can win any type of football game. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think it's crazy that the Vikings are favored with Carson Wentz as opposed to the Steelers on a neutral field. So the odds makers are saying the Vikings are a much better overall football team, regardless of who's at quarterback, than the Steelers are. And I don't know if I can say that with certainty. I probably won't bet it, but I'm very intrigued by it. That NFL Dublin game at 6:30 in the morning, my time.
The Sunday night game is Packers Cowboys, so we get to see the Micah Parsons return to Dallas. I don't know as if this game will be competitive. I think Green Bay will be better than they were in Week 3. Dallas stinks. 6.5 points there. It's not in my best bets for betting, but I've probably taken the Packers on the road in that one. And then the 2 Monday games. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say real quick, I'm going to push back slightly. I think the Packers win, but I do think the Cowboys are competitive. They, their Week 1 was a divisional game where they were very competitive against the Eagles. Week 2 was at home where they ended up winning, but that was a game where the offense was really firing. And I think Week 3 at the Bears, there's just a bad game. But the back at home, I think that there's a lot of motivation on that side to go against Micah Parsons and to make that Packers, that great Packers defense look silly. CD is out for sure.
He's out. Yep.
He's out. So like that does make a big difference. But I could see this being something where everyone's going to jump on the Packers, but the Cowboys maybe you'll keep it within 5 or 6 and then cover.
Monday night sees the Jets Dolphins. Neither team has won a game. That ought to be a thriller first. And then Bengals Broncos is the second game. So I can't say it's an elite prime time slate. Bengals Broncos, you're going to see Jake Browning again. And the Broncos just need to be better. So it's our first chance to see them on prime time.
Yeah. This week, no, I think we can confidently say, man, this week is the non-primetime games are significantly better than the primetime games because the games that aren't in primetime include, but are not limited to, Eagles, Buccaneers.
Yep.
We mentioned Tuesday. That's a huge game. A potential NFC like playoff game. You have the Colts and the Rams. That's a big game.
Yep.
And the first real test for the Colts. And then you have Ravens Chiefs, which that's the Jim Nance Tony Romo game, presumably late game on CBS. 2 1-2 teams, but man, that's like that's a good game. I also just realized that at the exact same time, also on CBS is Bears Raiders. That means that you have Red Zone, right? You don't have Sunday Ticket.
Right.
That means that you will have the Bears Raiders game on your local CBS station, while the rest of the nation has Ravens Chiefs. So
that's what you get for being this close to Chicago, I guess. But yeah, no, Bears Raiders. Oh,
but it's your Raiders.
Yeah, and it's generational Caleb. So
yeah. Why watch Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes when you can watch generational Caleb Williams in Vegas instead?
That's right. All right, let's do our best bets for betting segment where we pick 5 games. Each of us pick 5. So before we start, I am 11-9. You are 9-11. You still got to get yours in. You can get yours in as I'm talking here. I'll slow down.
I'm doing it now. Spoiler alert. This is a shameful confession, but I have a good idea of where I want to go with some of these games. But yeah, feel free to really give some analysis here for your first best bet or two, if you got a lot of analysis. And then I will let you know when to speed it up.
All right. I'll go ahead and start with tonight. I like to give a Friday night pick if there is one available that you can take. The Houston Cougars are on the road at Oregon State. Now you think, on the road. And this is an odd matchup. Houston, Big 12, Oregon State, and who knows what they're in these days. But Oregon State is 0-4. They're not good at all. They've lost to California by 19. They've lost to Fresno by 9. They lost to Texas Tech by 31. They lost to Oregon by 34. Houston's 3-0. I think they are a strong team. They just got done beating Colorado 36-20. They also blew out Stephen F. Austin and Rice. 13.5 is a lot of points, but I'll take the Cougars to win by a couple touchdowns. I will take Houston minus 13.5 tonight on the road at Oregon State. That's my first best bets for betting.
All right, I have all mine. But that was really good. That was the perfect amount of analysis. Thank you for stepping up there. All right. We talked about this just a few minutes ago in the college slate. I totally align with you. Although Ohio State's really good, although a blowout is in the range of possibilities, it's still a long way to travel. It's going to be a great environment in Seattle. I'm thinking that Washington's able to keep this close, and it's going to be Ohio State getting really tested on the road. So I'm taking Washington plus 7.5 as a home dog. Home dogs, baby. I love home dogs, especially in college sports. So I'm going to take Washington here.
All right, my second pick is going to be my Kansas Jayhawks. They host Cincinnati. Cincinnati's 2-1. They lost to Nebraska to start the year. They've looked better since, but they haven't played anybody. They beat Northwestern State 70-0 2 weeks ago. Kansas has actually gotten off to a good start. They're 3-1. Their lone loss came to Missouri. That was a possession game up until late. It was a game they could have won. Jayhawks bounced back last week at home and beat West Virginia 41-10. That's a good win against West Virginia. West Virginia is not awful. I will take Kansas, and it's minus 4.5 at home against the Bearcats. I think the Jayhawks can win by a touchdown or more in this one. Give me Kansas.
All right. I'm making potentially the same mistake that you made last weekend, where Illinois was also 6.5 point dog against Indiana.
Yeah.
Hey, Hey, on one note, if you took Illinois plus 54, you were a big winner last Saturday. So, but no, I'm once again sticking with the home dog here. Illinois is pissed, is very upset with how last week went. They're motivated. USC has to travel to Champaign. It's got to be like the first time ever they've played a game in Champaign.
Yeah, and Lincoln Riley's already bitching about playing early.
Right. So like he's upset about playing early, upset about being in Champaign. It's all this stuff. Like even though USC did win a game at Purdue, I still don't, in the words of our great friend Skeeter, I still don't trust them when it comes to road games 2 or 3 time zones away. So I think Illinois bounces back, maybe doesn't win, but I think it's going to be a close game. And they're going to step up a little bit and give USC a challenge because USC's schedule still like. They still haven't played really anyone of note. Like it's been Purdue on the road and Michigan State at home. They have not faced real challenges yet. So I think Illinois covers here.
If you are Marcus Freeman and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, you are begging for USC to win this game because that would mean the game against Notre Dame USC game would mean more. If Illinois goes and blows out or beats USC, Notre Dame just does not have very many chances for big wins. So Irish are cheering for the Trojans. In the Dave Portnoy special tomorrow, he'll be in Champaign.
That's a really good point. That's a good point where you have to just like put aside your differences and root for your enemy for a week. Yeah.
All right. I'll take Georgia minus 2.5 as my third game. If the game's in Athens, Alabama did win last year in Alabama. Now, so yes, that was a Kellen DeBoer win, but he needs another one. You're right. When you said that earlier, he needs kind of a signature one. Beating them twice in a row, beating them on the road would be his biggest win. So they need this one, but I'm going to take Georgia. I just think they're better and they're at home. So I will take them. Gunnar Stockton and the boys. I'll take the dogs minus 2.5.
All right, we're going to move on to the NFL here. I am waiting for the shoe to fall off. I'm waiting for the pumpkin to turn into, or no, what is it? The carriage to turn into a pumpkin. What is it? What does the pumpkin turn into before then reverting back to the pumpkin? Is it just a carriage?
I think it's just a carriage, yeah.
Okay, so it's a carriage now for Indianapolis. I'm still waiting for it to come back to a pumpkin. They got to go to LA. Face the Rams. 3.5 is not that many points for Sean McVay and a team that plays really well at home. So I'm going to say the Rams finally humbled the Colts a little bit. If the Colts win this game on the road, then I have to just come on the show and say the Colts are winning it all. Like I have nothing. I have nothing else to give. They are this year's Vikings in the sense of making me look totally stupid.
Yeah, but, so far.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to take Rams minus 3.5.
So I will skip to my fifth one because it is the same pick as you. I am also going to take the Los Angeles Rams to win this one. I think you're right. Going on the road, going to the West Coast, going to a pissed off Rams team that felt they should have beat the Eagles, didn't beat the Eagles. Now they get to host a Colts team that everybody's talking about. I think McVay and company get the job done and take care of this one. So I'm in agreement. That's my fifth. I'll come back to my fourth after your next one.
I kind of alluded to it on Tuesday. This Ravens-Chiefs game in Kansas City. The Ravens have definitely looked much better offensively. Lamar Jackson's played great. They've been explosive. That said, Kansas City is Kansas City. And I think the big difference here is that when games have been close in pressure spots, you have the Ravens, whether it's a Derrick Henry fumble or whatever else, haven't quite been able to, make that big play when needed. Meanwhile, Kansas City, it's just Patrick Mahomes is going to keep you alive by any means necessary. So I'm going to go with sort of the experience of winning with the home team, with Mahomes. The total is 48.5 points. So since I'm taking the Chiefs plus 2.5, and I think they win outright, I'm also taking the under because the Chiefs would love just a really gross game that makes it so that every single completion late in the game matters. And I'm going to give the edge to Kansas City.
All right. All right. So my final pick will be the Eagles. My Eagles.
Disgusting.
Going to Tampa and beating the Buccaneers. No Mike Evans for Tampa. Tampa's had Philadelphia's number over the last couple of years. They played them well, but I think that changes a little bit. I think you finally see a strong dose of Saquon Barkley in this one. He gets going a little bit. He gets going. A Philadelphia defense keeps. So Tampa Bay continues. Like, we don't even realize this, but Tampa Bay runs for 100+ yards like every game. And I don't know why we don't realize that they do this, but they do. I think Philadelphia figures out a way to slow that down. Maybe they contain Baker a little bit as well. Without Evans, that's a big loss. I'm going to take Philadelphia -3.5 on the road at Tampa to win this game.
I think Chris Godwin is expected to be back for them and make his season debut, but I'm with you. I like the Evans absence isn't 100% made up for by Godwin's return. They're different receivers, and Mike Evans is still so good. That's a game that I'm staying away from. I'll say that the Bucks have the last few years, they've been the team that I think the Eagles least want to see in a playoff game. And the game's in Tampa, but that's going to be a really good game. But we'll see how it goes here. All right, my final one, the last of the 2 Monday night games. Broncos are a 7.5-point home favorite against the Bengals. It is just really hard for me to look at what the Bengals did last weekend, laid the absolute largest of eggs against Carson Wentz and the Vikings, looked totally miserable, out of their element, just pathetic, and say that team is going to go to Denver to face that defense and they're going to right the ship. I don't see it. And especially because the Broncos have been, they've been on the losing end here of some really unfortunate. They lost on both their losses were on a last-second field goal against the Chargers, and then who was it in week 2? It was the Colts. Yeah. So Colts and the Chargers, undefeated teams on a last-second field goal that have handed the Broncos their loss. That's not a bad team in Denver. It's not. That's a good team in Denver. That's probably better than their record indicates they are. So 7.5's a lot, but I'm just going to take it. I think the Broncos are going to roll and suffocate Jake Browning's Bengals on Monday night.
All right, so that's our best bets for betting. Reminder: I am 11-9. You are 9-11. As we move forward to our 5th week of best bets for betting. All right, let's get to our Mount Rushmores of 97. A good number here. I know this is going to be mostly, pretty much all NHL and NFL today, because this is the strongest NHL we've had in a long time. I think we can pretty much rule out Major League Baseball and the National Basketball Association for the most part. What it was, Joe Beimel, I think, was 97 in Major League Baseball. But other than that, I don't really know as if we need to necessarily spend time on those two sports. The 2 names I will throw out you right away from the National Hockey League: Chicago Blackhawk. Was he 97 there? I know he was with the Coyotes and Flyers.
Nope.
Was Jeremy Roenick?
Not so. He wasn't with the Blackhawks when he was wearing 97. That said, he did wear 97 from 1997 all the way through, I think, the end of his career in 2007. So, the last 10 years of his career with the Coyotes, with the Flyers, with the Kings, Jeremy Roenick wore 97.
And then, of course, there's a guy that plays now. He's pretty good in the NHL. He's pretty good. Yeah. So I will nominate Connor McDavid and Jeremy Roenick. And if we want to move off of, I don't know why we would, but if we want to move off of either, we can. But I'm going to nominate those 2 right off the start.
I think McDavid for sure. Roenick, I'm tentatively going to say yes. The only reason that it's not 100% is just because his prime years were in a slightly different number. He wore a few. I think he wore 27 with the Blackhawks.
Yeah. You're right. I do remember that now. Yes. Right.
But then 97 pretty much for the rest of his career. So, But I like obviously Hall of Famer, amazing player. And then Connor McDavid. I like McDavid for me was the first person that came to mind when I heard 97. So that's a lock. Shout out, by the way, Kirill Kaprizov, the superstar in Minnesota. Shout out to hockey guy Dan. He's only played 5 years, so we can't quite put him on the Rushmore yet, but he's 97, and that's someone who, if he wears it his entire career and ends up perennial all-star and all that, like, keep an eye on him. That's all I'm saying.
Isn't Big Joe Thornton wore 97 too, right?
Only for 1 year.
Okay.
Yeah. At like the very end of his career, he wore it with Toronto, but no, Thornton was 19 all those years with San Jose and Boston.
So move to the NFL.
Yeah, I think so. And the NFL, obviously, you're going to have some really solid players. The top names that I see that have worn 97 include Cameron Hayward.
Yeah.
I think Cameron Hayward by Pro Football Pro Football Reference, I think Cameron Hayward might be the best one. 7-time Pro Bowler, 4-time All-Pro. He's been a Pittsburgh Steeler since 2011. Oof. And he's still doing it. He's still starting. So legendary career, Cam Hayward. You have Bryant Young, who was a 14-year veteran, all with the San Francisco 49ers, Hall of Famer, Bryant Young. That's a really good player. Leroy Glover, Geno Atkins, ILL Simeon Rice, wore 97. So there's
Nick Bosa.
And then I was just going to say some of the guys that are still playing include Nick Bosa, my New York Football Giants Dexter Lawrence is 97, Joey Bosa. So you have both Bosas wearing 97. So lots of options here to figure out where do you want to go with it.
That's a great question. So we'll stick. I think we could do 2 hockey, 2 NFL here. I don't see the NFL list being like, oh my gosh, you got to throw Jeremy Roenick off there. Jeremy Roenick, good career. Now 27 probably is what indicates him more. But you said 10 years, like that's a pretty significant chunk of his career.
Yeah. 10 years wearing that number, Hall of Fame. Yeah, that's and there's multiple franchises that associate him with that number.
Yeah. I think I like Bryant Young was very dominant defensive tackle for the 49ers. He's a Hall of Famer, won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Who was the first NFL name that you said Pro Football?
Cameron Hayward.
Yeah, I think he's probably in as well. Now you're leaving out both Bosas. You're leaving out Simeon Rice. You're leaving out Cortez Kennedy, Cornelius Bennett. So I'm probably okay with Hayward and Bryant Young, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think that's probably where I'm at too. But while acknowledging that you can make a whole separate Mount Rushmore of honorable mentions that all come from the NFL, where you put Simeon Rice on there, you put Leroy Glover on there, you put the Bosas, you put Dexter Lawrence, like whatever you want to do, like you can absolutely do that. Just a bunch of dominant, beefy pass rushers.
Yeah, that's a good number.
That would just terrify quarterbacks. Yeah, no quarterback would ever want to visit the Mount Rushmore of 97s and see those faces. They would get PTSD. Like it would not be good. So
there we go.
That's a pretty good Mount Rushmore, man. And it just dawned on me that we only have 2 of these left.
I know, just 2 left. And then we're gonna have to find a new segment. I don't know what it's gonna be, but we'll have to find a new segment. But anyways, we are up against the clock. We're running up on our hour. You've got California things to do today, so we'll get out of here. But make sure you follow us on Twitter if you haven't already. We are on Spotify, Apple, iHeart. Go back, listen to the shows, rate us, review us, all those cool things. And the Substack. Of course, there's a Substack that we've got going on. Still above for the month, just barely above for the month, but 40-plus units ahead for the year. So that's continuing. Gets in your inbox. Go to Substack, sign up for Stupidest Sports Show. Email comes to you, gives you picks. Take them or leave them how you want. Fade or follow as you need. But they'll be there on our Substack. So there we go.
What are California picks or California things to do? Like California things? Like in your mind?
I envision you like go out, you like stroll, and you put the top down, and you're driving around, and the sun's just blasted down on you, and there's just the beaches everywhere.
Beaches everywhere. No, that's exactly right. Yeah, it really what it is just constantly sitting in traffic.
Yeah.
Just to get anywhere.
Yeah.
That's true.
That too. But you got your top down, the car's thumping, and you're like, California. I don't know, something like that. He just knows how to party. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. That's what I envision. I mean, the only time I drove in LA, I went from Vegas and I rented a convertible, and that was what I did. Like I bumped from Vegas to LA, and
see, that's your own experience of putting that song the whole time just on repeat.
Just on repeat, or like anything Snoop Dogg, right? Like it just
yeah. Oh yeah. So, Snoop Dogg, yeah.
You got California things to do.
You nailed it. That's exactly actually what my Friday was going to be. You already revealed it. All right, let's get out of here for Rodney Newpol. He's Rodney Newpol. I almost said he's Tim Sandman Van Stratton. Talking about myself in the third person. That's vain. We don't do that here.
No.
It's still early for me. It's 7:00. Cut me some slack. All right. He's Rodney Newpol. I am Tim Sandman Van Stratton. We'll be back next week to get to episode 98 of the Stupidest Sports Show on Earth. But until then, see you guys.
See ya.
Step right up, dummies, and listen to the Stupidest Sports Show on Earth with Rodney Newpol and Tim Van Stratton. Yeah.